CIET NCERT presents audiobook Khel Yatra, textbook of physical education and well-being for grade 8.
Page 136, Unit 5. On the top of the page towards the left, there is a QR code. Scanning the QR code will take you to the additional resources of this unit. On the right side of the page, there are two pictures of two children playing volleyball. Fundamental skills of sports. Volleyball. Volleyball is a fast-paced, exciting team sport played by two teams on a rectangular court divided by a net. The objective is to score points by sending the ball over the net in a way that it lands on the opponent's court. Each team consists of 6 players on the court at a time, with specialized roles such as spikers, setters, blockers, and liberos. Each team has up to 3 touches to return the ball over the net, and the block touch is not counted. In this unit, we will experience and learn basic skills like serving, passing, setting, spiking, blocking, and digging. Page 137. Underhand pass. Warm-up, sidewalk, backwalk, jogging drills. Skill: underhand pass, cool down, 4-floor touch, calf stretch, circle time, basic moves and strategies. Underhand pass. The underhand pass in volleyball, also known as a bump pass, dig pass or simple pass, is a fundamental skill used to receive and control the ball, typically after a serve or an attacking hit, smash or spike from the opposing team. First, grip and hand position. Bring the hands together by overlapping one hand over the other and creating a semi-closed fist with one hand and covering it with the other. Ensure the thumbs are parallel, pointing forward and slightly down. Lock in the elbows, should not bend. Extend the arms in front and bend the wrist downwards. There is a picture on the right of the grip and hand position. On the left side, hands are overlapped. On the right hand side, the overlapped hands are creating a semi-closed fist with one hand and covering it with the other. Thumbs are parallel and pointing forward. 2. Stance. Point 1. Keep the feet shoulder width apart and diagonally to each other. Page 137. Point 2. Bend the knee slightly, straighten the spine and lean slightly forward. Point 3. Keep the arms relaxed below the chest yet ready in front of you. Point 4. Maintain a low stance as it gives better control and balance. Point 5. Bring the hands together by creating a semi-closed fist with one hand and overlapping it over the other. Ensure that the thumbs are parallel, pointing forward and slightly downwards. Point 6. Lock the elbows, should not bend. Extend the arms in front and bend the wrist downwards. 3. Execution. Point 1. Try to put your body in the center of the falling ball's path. Point 2. Let the forearms make contact with the ball with straight and locked elbows and upward swinging arms. Make use of your flexed knees by extending the lower limbs while hitting the ball. Point 3. To direct the ball higher, extend your bent knees and push the forearm with high impact. At the bottom of the page, there are 4 images from left to right labeled ready, move to position, contact point, and extend to target. Page 138. 3. Follow through. Point 1. Maintain a stable arm stance and once the ball makes contact, follow through in the desired direction of its trajectory. Point 2. Avoid excessive arm motion since it can interfere with pass accuracy and the opponent may return the ball at any moment of time. Lead-up activity. Point 1. Make two teams and ask them to form a circle. On the blow of the whistle, both the teams will start passing the ball with an underhand pass, making sure that the ball doesn't fall. Point 2. If the ball falls, it will be picked up again and the rally will restart. Point 3. After completion of the stipulated time, the team with the minimum number of falls or the maximum number of returns will be the winner. Circle time, basic moves and strategies. Discuss about the basic moves, shifting of the body weight and how it deflects the ball trajectory. Pop-up. During the game, when you use the underhand pass, let your teammates know you are taking the ball by calling mine loudly and clearly. Page 139. Overhead pass. Warm-up. Lower limbs rotation, high knee. Skill, overhead pass. Cool down, torso twist, cross-leg toe touch. Circle time, shape. Overhead pass. The overhead pass is either used to set the ball or to receive the ball when the ball comes up to the level of the face. 1. Hand position and ball contact. Point 1. Keep the hands above the forehead and use the thumb and index finger to form a triangle. Point 2. The ball will make contact with the fingertips, not with the palms. On the right side of the page, there are two pictures. On the left, the child is holding the ball with both hands above forehead using index fingers to form a triangle. On the right, picture of hands is there. The fingertips are shaded as they will make contact with the ball, not the palms. 2. Body position. Point 1. Stand with the feet shoulder width apart and one foot slightly ahead of the other to maintain balance. Point 2. The knees should be slightly bent and torso should be positioned under the ball. Page 140. Point 3. Bend the elbows slightly and position them outward to create a stable cup-shaped platform for setting the ball. 3. Execution. Point 1. Move quickly to the interception point, midline of the body, ball above the hairline, maintaining a good body stance, tape behind and under the ball. Point 2. Be balanced and face the direction in which the player wants to return the falling ball. Point 3. Contact the ball above the hairline or on the midline of the body and push the ball upwards with the force of the palms. Point 4. Straighten the lower legs while pushing the ball for accuracy. 4. Follow through. Extend your arms fully in the direction following the rising ball. The motion will end with your hands pointing towards the target. Stay balanced and ready to transition to the next position. On the bottom of the page, there is an image sequence of child demonstrating overhead pass. From left to right, she bends her knees slightly, raises her hand above her forehead and extends her arms upward. Page 141. At the top of the page, there are three images of a child performing overhead pass. The sequence from left to right captures him starting from a crouched position, then extended his arms fully above his head as he follows through the pass. Lead up activity. Point 1. Make two teams and ask them to form a circle. On the blow of the whistle, both the teams will start passing the ball with an overhand pass, making sure that the ball does not fall. Point 2. If the ball falls, it will be picked up again and the rally will restart. Point 3. After completion of the stipulated time, the team with the minimum number of falls or the maximum number of returns will be declared as the winner. Circle time, shape. Discuss the shapes formed when making a fist and their importance during a pass. Did we create any other shape in different joints of the body during the overhand and underhand passes? Page 142. Underhand serve. Warm up. Leaping and skipping jumps, arm swings. Skill, underhand serve. Cool down. Hip and pelvic muscle stretch, shoulder shrug, hamstring stretch. Circle time, sense of space. Underhand serve. The underhand serve is a type of serve in volleyball in which the player strikes the ball with an upwards and forward motion using an underhand swinging technique to send the ball correctly over the net into the opponent's court. 1. Stance. Point 1. Place the non-dominant foot slightly ahead while keeping the toes pointed forward. Hold the ball in the non-dominant hand slightly cupped to prevent it from swaying or falling off the hand. Bend your knees and upper body while maintaining the balance. Point 2. Move the arm that holds the ball from the lower side of the body in front of the hitting arm. Let the ball reach the height of the upper thigh at the side of the body and in front of the hitting arm. Point 3. As the server, move the shoulders towards the ball and shift the hips back while keeping the upper back straight. Page 143. 2. Execution. Point 1. Swiftly move the arm in a pendulum-like manner. Next, forcefully swing it forward and use a closed fist to strike the ball's bottom. Point 2. The server's non-dominant foot should be in front when the server shifts the weight onto it. On the bottom of the page, there are 6 images of a child demonstrating the underhand serve step by step. Page 144. 3. Follow through. Point 1. After the server strikes the ball, the server's arm should continue to move in an upwards arc. To ensure an accurate and straight flight path over the net, raise the arm to its maximum height. Point 2. The server's entire body should move forward and upwards to push the ball over the net. Lead-up activity. Point 1. Make pairs among all the players. Point 2. One player will serve and the other will catch the ball. After a few serves, the roles will be changed. Point 3. Start with a 6 meters distance between the players. Point 4. Eventually increase the distance according to the player's skill. Circle time, sense of space. Does placing the ball in different areas of the court require a change in the passing technique? Page 145. Overhead serve. Warm up, jumping jacks and frog jump, chest and back stretch, quadriceps stretch. Skill, overhead serve, pectorals and torso stretch, circle time, potential and kinetic energy. Overhand serve. An overhead serve in volleyball is a serve in which the player tosses the ball into the air and strikes it with an overhead arm swing. 1. Stance. Stand behind the baseline with feet shoulder width apart and keep one foot in front of the other opposite to the hitting hand. 2. Execution. Point 1. Toss the ball with your non-dominant hand. The toss should be near vertical and high enough for a full arm swing, while the fall of the ball remains as per the desired path. Point 2. Step forward with the foot opposite to the serving hand. Point 3. Swing the serving arm back next to the head. Page 146. On the top of the page, there is a sequence of 4 images. The child first raises his dominant arm backward, elbow bent and stepping forward with opposite foot. As he moves, he brings his arm forward with force using heel or base of his palm to strike the ball. Point 4. To bring the dominant hand forward, take the lead with the elbow. Point 5. Use the heel or the base of the palm to smash the ball. On the top of the page, there is a sequence of 4 images. The child first raises his dominant arm backward, elbow bent and stepping forward with opposite foot. As he moves, he brings his arm forward with force using heel or base of his palm to strike the ball. On the bottom of the page, the child tosses the ball slightly upward, keeps her eyes fixed on it and extend her arm overhead to strike the ball downward. Page 147. 3. Follow through. Transfer your weight from the back to the front. After contact, your hand should drop naturally down by the thigh. Lead up activity. Point 1. Cue up the players. Point 2. Draw a pentagon on the center of the opponent's court with its edges touching the end and the sidelines of the court. Point 3. Every player will do 10 overhead serves. Point 4. Players will get the scores on the basis of correct overhead serves which land in the marked area. Point 5. If the ball is landing outside the court, 0 points will be awarded. The player with the maximum score will be the winner. Circle time, potential and kinetic energy. Discuss how the human body uses potential and kinetic energy while serving during this activity. Page 148. Setting. Warm up, jumping jacks and frog jump, chest and back stretch, quadricep stretch. Skill, setting. Cool down, arm shaking and wrist muscle stretch. Circle time, technique. Setting. In volleyball, setting the ball for spiking is an important skill which ensures unexpected movement of the ball to spike and score a point. Setting is also known as boosting. 1. Stance. Point 1. While keeping an eye on the path of the ball, the setter prepares the body to receive and return the ball so that it goes through a high or low toss near the net, helping the spiker to spike comfortably. Point 2. Bend the elbows slightly and position them outwards near the forehead to create a stable cup-shaped platform for setting the ball. On the page towards right, there are two images where the child is demonstrating the proper setting position from front and back views. The child is holding a volleyball above her head with both hands positioned to create a cup-shaped formation. Page 149. 2. Execution. On the basis of the fall, the setter will receive and return the ball by an overhand pass and set the ball high or low in the air near the net in a forward or backward direction. 3. Follow through. Follow the path and direction of the ball. Complete the action by extending the upper limbs in the direction of the ball. Lead up activity. Point 1. Keep a raised table near the net pole and keep a bucket above it. Point 2. One feeder will pass the ball to a setter 5 times. Point 3. The setter has to set the ball in a way that after crossing the net height by at least 1 feet, it lands in the bucket. If the ball lands in the bucket without going higher than the net height, then the point will not be counted. Point 4. The player with the maximum score shall be the winner. Circle time, technique. Point 1. Discuss how to determine the spiker who can convert the rally into a point. Point 2. Discuss how to dodge the blockers of the opponent's team by setting the volley. Page 150. Spike. Warm up, neck stretch, neck rotation, overhead arm stretch. Skill, spike. Cool down, deep breathing exercises and forward bending. Circle time, introspection. Spike. Spiking a volleyball entails forcefully striking the ball over the net towards the floor of the opponent's court. 1. Stance. Point 1. Stand with the feet shoulder width apart for balance. Position yourselves under and slightly behind the ball. Point 2. Raise the dominant arm with its elbow bent slightly behind the head. This results in a powerful angle for the spike. Point 3. Monitor the ball continuously to anticipate its fall. Point 4. Maintain constant focus on the ball, especially as it approaches the spiking zone. 2. Execution. Point 1. Extend the non-dominant hand upwards while tilting the torso in line in the falling ball's path. Point 2. Bring the dominant arm down forcefully, making contact with the ball at its highest point. Page 151. Point 3. Aim to spike the ball with your palm. Point 4. To create a spin and a sharp downwards trajectory, spike the ball at the center or top center, then lead it downwards with a snapping motion of the wrist. Point 5. While swinging the arm, rotate the torso slightly to generate more power from the core. The power of the spike is generated by the movement of the upper extremities, torso, pelvic, and the lower extremities. Point 6. Right-handed players step with their left foot first, then their right foot, and finally their left foot for balance and power. Left-handed players reverse the sequence. 3. Follow through. After making contact, the motion continues with the arm moving downwards and forward. As the movement finishes, the wrist snaps to direct the ball to the opposite side of the court. On the top of the page, there are 3 sequential images where a child is demonstrating the spiking motion from preparation through execution. Page 152. On the top of the page, there is a 5-stage progression of complete spiking motion at the net. From left to right, 1. Ready position, 2. Gathering momentum, 3. Jumping with arm, 4. Making contact with volleyball, 5. Follow through. At the bottom of the page, there are 2 images. On the left, the image is labeled best angle, demonstrating the optimal body position and angle for the approach. On the right, image is labeled movement of the arm swing. 2 children demonstrating full arm swing motion with curved motion lines indicating the path of the arm movement from back to forward contact point. Page 153. On the top of the page, there is a sequential diagram where a player demonstrates the complete spiking motion in 7 stages. From left to right, 1. Starting position, 2. Building momentum, 3. Preparing to jump, 4. Taking off, 5. Reaching peak height, 6. Making contact with volleyball, 7. Follow through and landing. Lead up activity. Make pairs in which one player will be the feeder and the other will be the spiker. The spiker will pass the volleyball to the feeder. The feeder will boost the ball high in the air and the spiker will then spike it across the net. After 5 attempts, the roles will be changed. The pair with the maximum number of successful spikes across the net will be the winner. Circle time. Introspection. Point 1. Discuss the impacts of claiming more than the actual successful spikes. Will it help you or hold you back from learning the skill? Point 2. Is it more fruitful to resolve conflicts by discussing among 2 players or is asking for mediation more helpful? Point 3. Discuss which defenders use the right method to catch and hold as suggested in the body position and execution parts above. Page 154. Pop-up. Aim to use the whole body to serve. The role of potential and kinetic energy. To generate a powerful and effective serve, it is important to use the whole body, applying both types of energy. Potential energy is stored in the body when a player bends their knees, loads their arm, and prepares to serve. This energy builds up before the movement. Kinetic energy is released when the player extends their legs, swings their arm, and makes contact with the ball, converting stored energy into motion for a strong serve. Spiking is also known as smash, which can be done from any place of the court, but smashing near the net helps more in scoring a point. Extremities refer to the limbs of the body. Upper extremities, these include the arms from the shoulder to the hands. Lower extremities, these include the legs from the hip to the toes. While performing any activity, spatial attributes describe movement such as distance, while temporal attributes relate to time. Page 155, Block. Warm-up. Leaping and skipping jumps, hip and pelvic muscle stretch, skill, block, cool down, chest stretch, shoulder circles, cross body shoulder stretch. Circle time, anticipate. Block. Blocking is a skill which is performed close to the net to intercept the ball spiked from the opponent. It is a defensive move in which defenders try to stop or deflect the ball back to the opponent's side. A block can be executed either solo or with another blocker. 1. Stance. Standing near the net with the knees slightly bent and the arms raised, the blocker will be on their toes and ready to move in any direction. 2. Execution. Point 1. Extend the hands over the net to face the opponent. The blocker will rise and reach the ball just in front of the spiker in order to block the ball over the net. Point 2. To direct the ball to the opposing team's court, keep the fingers spread and angle the hands downwards. Page 156. 3. Follow through landing. To minimize the body's impact at the time of the landing, keep the knees bent so that the feet absorb the impact and prepare the body for the next move. There is an image of 4 figures demonstrating blocking progression from left to right, stance, execution and follow through. Lead up activity. Make multiple players stand in a queue across the net. Every pair will be given a duration of 30 seconds in which they have to jump together and clap each other's palms above the net. At the same time, they have to keep on moving towards the far sideline. After 30 seconds, there will be another blow of the whistle and then the blocker has to stop. Now, new pair will start doing the same. While clapping each other's hand, if a player touches the net, the clap will not be counted. The pair with the maximum number of claps will be the winner. Circle time, anticipate. Point 1. Discuss how to anticipate the real spiker and distractor. Point 2. Discuss how to focus on the correct foot movements of spikers during takeoff for blocking. Page 157. Dig. Warm up, leaping and skipping jumps, hip and pelvic muscle stretch, skill, dig. Cool down, chest stretch, shoulder circles, cross body shoulder stretch. Circle time, concentration. Dig. Dig is a defensive skill used to prevent the ball from touching the ground after an opponent's spike or drop near the net. It involves using the forearms or hands to control and redirect the ball upwards, allowing the team to continue the play. 1. Stance. Point 1. Keep the feet shoulder width apart, knees bent and body low. Point 2. Weight should be balanced on the balls of the feet for quick movement. Point 3. The arms must be extended and the hands must be kept together, forming a strong platform. Point 4. Diggers must bend their knees to stay low towards the ground and position their hands in front for quick reactions. 2. Execution. Point 1. Move quickly to get under the ball. Point 2. Keep your arms straight and use the forearm to absorb the impact. Page 158. Point 3. Angle the forearm to direct the ball towards the setter. Point 4. Use both hands. Whenever possible, a dig should be performed with both hands together, forming a contact point to control the ball's direction and prevent it from going out of bounds. Point 5. Avoid swinging the arms. Instead of swinging, absorb the ball's impact using the legs and a firm forearm. 3. Follow through. Point 1. Maintain control and balance after contact. Point 2. In case of a dive, roll the body to neutralize the impact. Lead up activity. A feeder stands 4 feet ahead of a digger, holding one soft sponge ball in each hand. The digger starts in a squat position with hands joined in a ready stance. The feeder randomly drops one of the balls and the digger must react quickly to reach, get below the ball and catch it before it hits the ground. Each digger gets 10 attempts and the player with the most successful catches is the winner of the drill. Circle time, concentration. Discuss how the dig helps in the development of concentration. On the top of the page, there is image of 3 figures demonstrating dig from left to right, stance, execution and follow through. Page 159. Ball rotation activity. Warm up, leaping and skipping jumps, hip and pelvic muscle stretch. Activity, ball rotation activity. Cool down, arm swinging, shoulder shrug, hamstring stretch, calf stretch. Circle time, safety measures. Ball rotation activity. Point 1. Divide the players into 3 groups, blocker, spiker and setter. Point 2. From each group, one player will perform the drill. Point 3. The setter will set the ball for the spiker. Point 4. The spiker will hit the ball and the blocker will block it from the other side of the net. On the bottom of the page, there is an image of a ball rotational activity. There are 5 figures demonstrating the sequence from left to right. 1. Setter preparing with ball. 2. Setter setting the ball upward. 3. 2 players jumping at the net. 4. Player on opposite side ready to receive. Page 160.5. The activity will continue until everyone gets a chance to block, spike and set the ball. Lead up activity. Make 2 teams. Line up both the teams facing each other on opposite sides at a distance of approximately 6 meters. One player from each team will come in the center and they will lock elbows with each other. Both players will sing 1 or 2 lines of any folk song while moving in a circle. As the first round ends, both the players will try to pull each other towards their own side. The player that successfully pulls the other player towards their side earns 1 point. Repeat the process until everyone gets their turn. Circle time, safety measures. Point 1. Discuss how you feel when you help an injured player. Point 2. Discuss how you can ensure your own safety and safety of others. Point 3. Identify and report distress signals like facial expressions to your teacher. Also report physical injuries including discomfort in movement, bruises and rashes, blood, intense pain and others. Page 161. Ace accuracy contest. Warm up, sliding and galloping, knee hug. Activity, ace accuracy contest. Cool down, forward lunges and backward lunges, lower limbs rotations. Circle time, eye-hand coordination. Ace accuracy contest. Point 1. Make 2 teams. Point 2. Line them up at the serving line. Point 3. Each player will serve the ball one at a time, trying to get it over the net. And if a player serves the ball into the designated target area, they will earn an extra point. Point 4. The team with the maximum points wins. Circle time, eye-hand coordination. Discuss drills to improve eye-hand coordination and listening to the instructions. In the center of the page towards right, there is an image of volleyball court. A net line runs horizontally across the middle, dividing the court into two halves. The right side is divided into 6 numbered zones. Page 162. Ball throw activity. Warm up, sliding and galloping, knee hug and quadricep stretch. Activity, ball throw activity. Cool down, torso twist, calf stretch, quadricep stretch. Circle time, distress. Ball through activity. Point 1. Make a team of 6 players each. Point 2. The game starts with a player performing an underhand or overhand serve over the net to the opposing team. Point 3. The receiving team will catch the ball and after catching within 3 seconds, they will have to throw the ball to the opponent's side. Point 4. The players need to stay in their position while throwing the ball. Point 5. When a team wins the serve, they must rotate one position clockwise before serving again. Point 6. Assume your team wins a rally after the opponent serves. Before your team serves, each member must rotate one position clockwise. The back right player, position 1, moves to the middle of the back row, position 6, and each player follows in a clockwise sequence with the front right player, position 2, taking the serving position, position 1. Point 7. The team which reaches 11 points first wins the game. Page 163. Circle time, distress. Identify and report distress signals like facial expressions to your teacher. Also report physical injuries including discomfort in movement, bruises and rashes, blood, intense pain and others. On the top of the page, there is an image of volleyball court. 6 numbered positions are marked. Arrows indicating clockwise rotation position. 4, 3, 2. Front row left to right. Position 5, 6, 1. Back row left to right. Net line is visible across the middle. Page 164. 11-point match. Warm up. Fast running on the spot. Head to toe stretch. Activity 11-point match. Cool down. Overhead arm stretch. Torso twist. Crossed leg toe touch. Circle time, personal behavior. 11-point match. Point 1. Make a team of 6 players each. Point 2. A match will be played for 11 points each. The team who wins the match will play the next round. Complete the following task. Point 1. Find out the dimensions of a volleyball court. Label the diagram. Find out the basic rules of volleyball and discuss them with your peers. Circle time, personal behavior. Discuss about the personal behavior during the game and how it felt while appreciating a strong player. On the right, there is an image of volleyball court with white net line. Page 165, assessment by teacher. Pass, underhand and overhead. 1. The student needs more practice to comfortably pass the ball in the game. 2. The student is able to demonstrate both underhand and overhead pass. 3. The student is able to correctly perform either underhand and overhead pass to the other students. 4. The student is able to use both underhand and overhead pass according to the requirement of the game. 5. The student is able to assess and appreciate a good pass performed by the opponent. Serve, underhand and overhand. 1. The student needs more practice of serves to comfortably use it in the game. 2. The student is able to demonstrate both underhand and overhand serve. 3. The student is able to correctly perform either underhand or overhand serve. 4. The student is able to decide which type of the serve should be used for the next rally. 5. The student is able to assess and appreciate a good serve of the opponent. Spike. 1. The student needs more practice of spike to comfortably use it in the game. 2. The student is able to demonstrate spike. 3. The student is able to correctly spike. 4. The student is able to decide when to perform spike should be used for next rally. 5. The student is able to assess and appreciate a good spike of the opponent. Page 166. Block. 1. The student needs more practice of blocks to comfortably use it against the attacks. 2. The student is able to demonstrate blocks against the attack. 3. The student is able to correctly perform blocks against the attack. 4. The student is able to perform blocks against the attack according to the requirement of the game. 5. The student is able to assess and appreciate a good block against an attack by the opponent. Digging. 1. The student needs more practice of digging to comfortably use it. 2. The student is able to demonstrate digging. 3. The student is able to correctly perform digging. 4. The student is able to perform digging according to the requirement of the game. 5. The student is able to assess and appreciate a good digging by the opponent. Overcoming self-distress. 1. The student reacts emotionally or impulsively without attempting to reduce distress. 2. The student struggles to solve problems and avoid self-reflection. 3. The student makes simple attempts to think and solve problems but with little success. 4. The student tries to think issues thoroughly and find solutions but occasionally reacts emotionally. 5. The student learns from upsetting experiences and approaches problems with composure. Unit 5 ends here.
Khel Yatra. You are just listening to the textbook of Physical Education and Well-being for Grade 8. Narration Swati Verma. Sound recordist Amarjeet Sarkar. Assistance in production Chetna Sharma. Directed and produced by Vimlesh Chaudhary. This audiobook is brought to you by CIET NCERT, New Delhi, India.